God is dead. These three words were made famous by German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche in 1882. It was just before the turn of the century, and the Enlightenment was picking up a head of steam, overthrowing all of the old and ancient-held traditions, teachings, and authorities of the past that were seemingly tied to this idea of God. You see, in the ancient world, truth was up there to be revealed. There were gods, and then there were all of us separate from them. And we waited for those distant gods to give us a word, a phrase, a sign to show up and help us or smite us, depending on the day. Those gods are not the gods for me. Those gods are dead. Then came the modern world, where truth was out there to be observed. This was the birth of scientific thought, inductive reasoning, and objective truth. We became deities, Nietzsche's Uberman or Superman. We believe we could build heaven on earth ourselves through technology, through industry, through the spreading of knowledge and learning. Then 2 world wars tore that dream apart. We, the human race, as God, died. Then came the postmodern world, where truth is in here to be discovered. We all turned inward, away from every we to simply me. I am my own God, my own deity. I rule my own life, my own morals, my own truth. And the result is a pluralism where everything is theoretically affirmed as long as you affirm what I affirm. Otherwise, cancel. COVID showed up. And the result is that the me could not survive without the we. Suicide, mental health, and loneliness have become epidemics that are eroding our culture. The God of me is dead. So in a world where the gods up there and the gods of we and the gods of me have passed on, where do we turn? John Stott said this in his book titled The Cross of Christ. He says he turns again and again to God on the cross. He says it like this: I could never myself believe in God except if it were for the cross. In the real world of pain, how could one worship a God who is immune to it? I've entered many Buddhist temples in different Asian countries and stood respectfully before the statue of Buddha, his legs crossed, arms folded, eyes closed, the ghost of a smile playing around his mouth, a remote look on his face, detached from the agonies of this world. But each time, after a while, I've had to turn away, and in imagination, I've turned instead to the lonely, twisted, tortured figure on the cross, nails through hands and feet, back lacerated, limbs rich, brow bleeding from thorn pricks, mouth dry and intolerably thirsty, plunged in God-forsaken darkness. That is the God for me. He laid aside his immunity to pain. He entered our world of flesh and blood, tears and death. He suffered for us, and our sufferings become more manageable in light of his. There's still a question mark over human suffering, but we boldly stamp over it another mark, the cross, which symbolizes divine suffering and the promise that all suffering will end. The cross of Christ is God's only self-justification in a world such as ours. That is God for me. One who weeps with those who weep. One forgives those who are killing him. One who loves those who mock him. One who shows compassion to those trying to understand him. God is dead. That's what the cross of Christ reveals. A God willing to come off his throne up there, enter the world down here, and die for all of us everywhere. I mean, he died. And because he dies, I now know that I can truly live. And so can you.